It has transformed countless lives across the globe. Now that you've discovered it, embed it deep inside your subconscious. Explore the description under this video and follow the links there to find multiple tools to help you achieve the most powerful results possible. Your path toward prosperity begins with a single choice. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to the Top Mindset Growth community. Learning how to think like a millionaire before the money comes is the true starting point. Long before the wealth, before your first breakthrough moment, before the empire is ever built, it all begins with a single mental spark. A solitary, unshakable idea that refuses to die no matter what stands against it. The roots of a wealthy mindset aren't watered in a bank account. They are forged in the fire of unshakable belief. Here's something rarely taught in any school. You do not pull riches toward yourself by obsessively chasing currency. You magnetize wealth by becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts and manages it. There is a mental blueprint for prosperity, a repeatable formula for achievement, and a deeper force behind every fortune that was ever created from scratch. If your desire is to become financially free, if you want success that echoes beyond your own lifetime, the first thing you must do is stop thinking like someone who merely needs money and begin thinking like someone who generates it. Henry Ford once remarked, "Whether you think you can or you believe you can't, you are correct." Let that settle into your core, because it is not just a phrase, it is a warning. If the majority of your thoughts are rooted in fear, scarcity, and hesitation, your results will always reflect that. But if your primary mental focus is on vision, conviction, and unstoppable determination, then even the fortress of poverty must open its gates. The wealthy mind doesn't sit around waiting for luck. It builds its own opportunities. It bends reality through clarity, focus, and disciplined imagination. Walt Disney envisioned a thriving kingdom while standing on land most called a swamp. Nikola Tesla pictured a world of wireless power even before most homes had electric light. They didn't sit still and hope. They thought differently, they held unrelenting faith, and they acted as though their dreams were already tangible. This is where your journey must start, inside your mind, because you cannot build a life that contradicts your deepest beliefs. No amount of strategies, hustles, or deals will last if your inner programming is still set to mediocrity. Once you recognize that wealth is born within you, you can begin reshaping the subconscious patterns that have silently guided your choices for years. That inner voice whispering, "I'm not ready, I'm not enough, I could never do this," is not your authentic self. It is programming, layers of limitation installed by society, by parents, by peers who were afraid themselves. The truth is your brain is reprogrammable. History's most successful people understood this secret. In the 1960s, Dr. Maxwell Maltz uncovered something remarkable. When a person upgraded their self-image, every area of their life began to shift. Their confidence, their earning power, their relationships, even their health. Why? Because the subconscious mind doesn't ask if something is true. It simply accepts what you tell it most often. Speak words of failure over yourself, and your mind will dutifully construct a future that matches. Speak words of strength, creativity, and worthiness, and your mind will work to make that real instead. So ask yourself, what are you declaring every single day? What pictures dominate the screen of your imagination? Because whatever you think about most becomes the environment you eventually live in. You must become the deliberate designer of your mental mansion. Build abundance there first. Tour your dream home in your mind. Shake hands with future partners. Feel the sensation of checking your account and seeing that $1 million wire transfer. Live inside that reality mentally. Walk in it. Speak from that place. Then go into the world and act as if it has already happened. The world is always ready for the man or woman who has already accepted their future as reality. Proof is for spectators. Faith is for the leaders who shape the game. Understand this. You don't become a millionaire thinker by merely reading inspirational lines. You do it by living a code of clarity. You must know exactly what you want with precision. You do not casually wish for success. That's too vague. You do not beg life for more money. That is the mindset of need. You give your life a direct order. You set exact numbers, define the ventures you'll create, and describe the lifestyle you will live in crystal detail. Clarity is the native language of the subconscious. When you are fuzzy, your results will scatter like dust. But when you are exact, the universe rearranges itself around your purpose. Andrew Carnegie insisted that a person must know exactly what they desire, otherwise they will never receive it. Carnegie spoke in certainties, and the world delivered him an empire. The ordinary mind says, "I hope this works out." The wealthy mind declares, "This is already mine, now I must simply go and collect it." And once you have carved this vision deep into your soul, you must tie it to a burning purpose, something beyond just luxuries or applause. Millionaires don't rise merely for fame. They rise because they are driven to leave a mark. Henry Ford didn't build cars just to amass wealth. He wanted every worker to own one. Thomas Edison wasn't in love with dollars. He was in love with erasing the darkness from the world. Real prosperity is the side effect of serving a mission greater than yourself. So, what is the force that will keep you moving when no one is cheering? What cause will make you unstoppable even through storms? What passion will rip you out of bed while others sleep? That is your millionaire fuel. Nurture it, guard it, and act from it. Because discipline without meaning feels like suffering, but discipline tied to purpose becomes the bedrock of a legendary life. And this is where action comes in. Not someday. Not when you feel perfectly prepared now. Wealthy individuals do not wait for cosmic alignment. They align themselves with their goals and move. Thomas Edison made more than 10,000 attempts before perfecting the light bulb. He never called them failures. He simply discovered thousands of ways that didn't work. That is not the attitude of a man obsessed with money. It is the mentality of a man obsessed with turning vision into reality. All great builders of wealth share one common trait: relentless forward motion. Not perfection, not endless planning, not hesitation, action. Andrew Carnegie created more than 100 millionaires not by giving them money, but by giving them belief and insisting they act. You do not need more books, more courses, or more YouTube videos. You need movement. You must take the ideas in your head and transform them into physical results. You must operate as though your future self is counting on you, because it is. And understand this clearly: greatness never comes from doing what's comfortable. You rise by doing what most refuse to do. Waking up early, sharpening your mind every day, blocking distractions, reading, learning, confronting rejection, saying no to mediocrity, sitting with your thoughts, planning every hour, and working on your craft while others waste time. These are not merely habits of the rich. They are standards of excellence. And the standards you accept will sculpt the life you receive. Tolerate being average, and you will get an average existence. Demand extraordinary output from yourself, and life will eventually match that demand. There will come a day when the world finally sees what you've been building quietly. But you must first earn that day in silence. The millionaire's mind is not shaped under bright lights. It is refined in solitude. Those early mornings with no applause, those late nights when everyone else is asleep and you are still learning, creating, preparing. This is where prosperity takes root. This is where victors are forged. Alexander Graham Bell did not give the world the telephone by waiting for applause or chasing validation. He moved with obsession, with relentless focus, with a resolve so unshakable that he willed the unseen into existence. If your aim is to create wealth, you must abandon the habits of a spectator. Stop killing your time. Stop measuring yourself against the crowd. Stop letting strangers dictate your value. A true wealth builder never asks, "Do they like this?" They ask, "Does this serve the mission I've chosen?" That is the split. The masses linger, waiting for permission. The leader steps forward and sets things in motion. The average person reacts from emotion. The wealthy mind chooses with precision and strategy, and this is where the war begins. The battle between who you are today and the version of you that must emerge if you are ever to reach that destiny. You will feel discomfort. You will face fear. That's the signal that the outdated version of you is breaking apart, because your mind was not built to make you extraordinary. It was built to keep you alive, to seek safety, to stay familiar, to resist change. But prosperity does not exist in the warm comfort of the familiar. It exists beyond the line of safety. It thrives in the unknown. It is waiting on the other side of risk, where most people turn back. And when your worries roar louder than your ambition, remember this truth: you are not your worries. You are the one who observes them, and you can choose new thoughts, better thoughts, thoughts that shape a future you actually want. Through practice, through repetition, you are literally sculpting reality. Every affirmation, every mental picture, every bold move is part of the new code you're writing. You are either designing your destiny or recycling the past. Dale Carnegie was right when he said that hesitation breeds fear, while decisive action grows courage and strength. Confidence does not arrive before action. It is born from action. That is why you must write your goals, see it, breathe it, and then chase it daily with relentless energy. There can be no days wasted, no skipping steps, no allowing mediocrity to creep in. A millionaire mind doesn't depend on a wave of motivation. It runs on an oath to grow, to transform, to become impossible to ignore. You have to toughen your inner world because life will throw you challenges. People will tell you it cannot be done. Setbacks will hit you hard. But if your mindset is fortified, if your self-belief is like iron, if your personal standards are higher than the mountains, then nothing and no one can deny you what you've chosen as yours. That is what it means to master yourself. That is where wealth is born, in thought first, in reality later. And here's a secret no podcast or book will give you plainly. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to wait for an invitation. You don't need perfect timing. You need to move. You must commit without knowing every step, without hearing applause, without seeing evidence. Let what you do rewrite what your life becomes. Og Mandino was right when he declared, "I will keep going until I win. Not I will attempt, not I will wish. I will continue until the goal is mine." That is the mindset of prosperity, and it must be yours. Persistence is not a gift. It is a choice. It is something you decide every day. It is when you declare, "This is my reality, and I will not stop until it shows up." Most people fold when things turn difficult. The wealth-driven mind digs deeper, pushes harder, because it understands the secret that most never see. The dream hides on the other side of fatigue. The treasure sits behind the final barrier, and the tragedy is most quit just before they break through. Do not quit. Don't you dare walk away, not until you've become the person who naturally attracts what you're chasing. Because here's the raw truth. You never receive what you merely wish for. You receive what you are. You have to embody it in mindset, in speech, in energy, in habits, in beliefs long before it ever becomes tangible. Think abundance, speak as if it's already here, act from that identity, give generously, live fully. Money reflects you, but the mind shapes it all. So shape it, harden it, mold it, strengthen it, and watch everything bend around it. You now stand at the edge of the possible, staring into what could be. Right here, in this instant, you're caught between the life you've always known and the one that's waiting to be claimed. Claimed, not begged for, not barely earned. Claimed. True wealth is not given to those who only toil harder. It comes to those who have clarity, those who dare to demand it with unwavering conviction, those who act with unshakable resolve. Every great mogul, every titan of industry, every name we celebrate understood this. Long before the money appeared, long before the company exploded, long before the investors signed the deal, they had already made a decision so unrelenting, so absolute, that reality had no option but to yield to it. Wallace Wattles called it a certain way of thinking. He wasn't talking about wishing. He meant knowing without a flicker of doubt. Knowing you are the one shaping events, that your thoughts bring things into being, that your inner life alters your outer life. And you must guard that knowing like a sacred flame. Because the moment you rise, the world will try to pull you back. Voices will tell you, be realistic. Don't expect too much. Be content with what you already have. These are not truths. They are cages. They are traps meant to keep you in place, meant to make you believe greatness is reserved for someone else. That is a lie. You were not made to live halfway. You were not placed here just to exist. You were built to expand, to lead, to multiply your potential, to think with such magnitude that ordinary minds feel threatened. That is millionaire thinking. It is not greed. It is not vanity. It is stewardship of your potential. You are accountable for the vision inside you. You are accountable for the talents in your hands. You are accountable for stepping into the person your soul already recognizes. And that takes fire, it takes resolve, it takes a decision that says, I will rise or I will fall fighting, but I will never again live small. That is the mindset of Tesla, of Walt Disney, of Earl Nightingale, of every man and woman who reshaped the world to match their imagination. And it must be yours. If you want wealth, then walk like you already have it, speak as though it is reality, study with devotion, create like a pioneer, move with purpose, not tomorrow, today. Every word you say, let it be spoken from the version of you who has already made it. Every choice you face, ask, is this worthy of my future self? Because that future version is watching. They are silently asking, will you step up or shrink? And here's the twist. That version is not somewhere far away. They are already here inside you, beneath the noise, under the fear, waiting to be set free. You do not need to find them. You must release them. Abandon the identity that hesitates. Kill the voice that doubts. Starve it with action, so bold it shakes your comfort zone. Because time is not infinite, and your clock is ticking. One day your name will be spoken for the final time. Your chapter will close. And the real question will be, did you rise? Did you pour yourself fully into life? Did you give every ounce of who you were supposed to become? The world does not need more prisoners of fear. It needs visionaries, builders of destiny, architects of abundance. So choose now to think as the wealthy think, to believe as the powerful believe, to behave as if the life you dream of already belongs to you. Burn every bridge to mediocrity. Destroy the exit routes. Announce to the world, I am already rich in spirit and my reality is just catching up. Because it is. Every thought from this day forward is either building your empire or tearing it apart. So choose your thoughts with care. Live without hesitation. And never forget this: true wealth is not discovered in the visible world. It is born in the invisible, in the way you think. And when you think like wealth itself, the world cannot help but rearrange around you. It always has, and it always will.